UFO sightings in New York have nearly doubled since the pandemic began.
Unidentified crafts.
Unidentified flying objects have been spotted by Navy pilots, and nobody knows where they're coming from.
The former National Intelligence Director is revealing a new government report on UFOs.
This video, taken in 2019, is the real deal. A legit UFO.
UFOs flying through the air are real.
There may be aliens in our Milky Way galaxy, and there are billions of other galaxies. The probability is almost certain that there is life somewhere in space. Buzz Aldrin. Unidentified flying objects aren't new, and UFOs have been spotted all around the world. Humans have been describing unidentified flying objects for millennia, with depictions of disc-like objects and unusual atmospheric objects found in the art and literature of ancient civilizations, from the Sumerians and the Egyptians to the Greeks and Romans. But the modern era of UFO took off in the middle of the 20th century, right around the time rockets and high-tech aircraft were being devised, often in secret. Coincidence? Paranoia? Perhaps.
We've interviewed a number of experts on the show, people familiar with footage in the possession of the U.S. military, who have said there is tape out there of unidentified flying objects descending from the sky and then disappearing into the ocean. Well, today, that video emerged. The Pentagon has just confirmed that the footage is real. You're seeing it now on your screen. It was taken by the Combat Information Center on board the USS Omaha on July 15th, 2019, off the coast of San Diego. As far as we know, the UFO in question was never recovered. There was no material indicating a crash. More than that, we don't know. Tom Rogan is a Washington Examiner columnist, well-versed in the subject. He joins us tonight. Tom, what do you think we're looking at here?
Well, I think we may well be looking at a true unknown, which is to say intelligently controlled machinery that is not understood to be in the possession of the United States, China, or Russia. As the Pentagon itself has admitted, this continuing trend of truly unexplained things coming into the public consciousness more than they have before.
Clearly, we're looking at something that is, as you just put it, being intelligently controlled, and it's going underneath the ocean and then disappearing.
There is a undersea dimension to this that the Navy has sort of pushed off to the side as the pilots talk more about their experiences. So there's a lot more to come out, I think, is the best way to put it.
We can say that the UFO conspiracy has become part of our landscape for the past more than 75 years, with the first widely reported UFO sighting in the United States in 1947. While flying his small aircraft near Washington's Mount Rainier on June 24, 1947, an experienced pilot with more than 9,000 hours of flying time, Kenneth Arnold, claimed to have seen 9 blue glowing objects flying fast at an estimated 1,700 miles per hour in a V formation. Arnold first believed the objects to be some sort of new military aircraft. This was, after all, just 2 years after World War II and the first year of the Cold War. But the military confirmed there were no tests being conducted near Mount Rainier that day. When Arnold described the craft's motion as similar to a saucer if you skip it across water, the media coined the now ubiquitous phrase, flying saucer. He said he watched them for about 2 minutes until they disappeared over Oregon. Soon after, other reports of a group of 9 UFOs cropped up across the region, including sightings by a prospector on Mount Adams and the crew of a commercial flight in Idaho. The government never offered a credible explanation for the sightings. It simply claimed Arnold had seen a mirage or was hallucinating, but UFO mania had set in, and just a few weeks later, the infamous Roswell sighting would perpetuate the obsession. The famous Kenneth Arnold's 1947 sightings is often used as the start point of the UFO cover-up, but many will point out it started at least 2 decades before. The Roswell UFO crash incident, the mother of all UFO sightings, MJ-12, the mysterious death of America's first Secretary of Defense, James Forrestal, and the Washington, D.C. UFO incident all happened within a 5-year span, and the era of UFO conspiracy was off to the races. When the internet came into vogue, suppressing the UFO truth suddenly became tougher than it used to be. Today, the UFO evidence is all over the internet, and while some of it may be questionable, there's more than enough of it to squash any doubt UFOs are real. Add to this the enormous proliferation of television programs, documentaries, and movies dedicated to the UFO truth. Skeptics and debunkers are hardly effective anymore. In fact, it's fair to say they're being laughed off the stage whenever they attempt to discredit evidence. In our era of life-changing innovation, there are major breakthroughs that could well come from the serious study of UFO phenomena. The government has reversed its official position of publicly ignoring UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, the new trendy name for UFOs, and it's starting to tackle the subject openly. In 2020, the Department of Defense confirmed what seekers of extraterrestrial life have long hoped to be true. They're real. The Pentagon released 3 Navy videos that have driven speculation about unidentified flying objects for years, saying it meant to clear up any misconceptions about whether the classified footage was real or complete. It's real, the Pentagon said, including links so the curious could download the footage for themselves. A clip from 2004 was filmed by 2 Navy fighter pilots and shows a round object hovering above the water about 100 miles, 160 kilometers, out into the Pacific Ocean. 2 other videos, captured by naval aviators, show objects hurtling through the sky, one rotating against the wind, and pilots can be heard expressing confusion and awe.
We're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
When they first appeared online, they breathed new life into the decades-long conversation about whether interstellar visitors had ever come to Earth.
That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. It is an LNS, dude. Well, if there's a thing, it's rotating.
Details emerged about a mysterious 5-year Pentagon program and claims of metal alloys said to have been recovered from unidentified phenomena. The former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Democrat of Nevada, spoke about his long push for more research on unidentified flying objects. For Mr. Reid, the officially released videos are only a glimpse of what the public might learn about UFOs and other mysteries of space. At the Pentagon, it's called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, or UAPTF, and has been ordered to prepare a detailed overview of the UFO mystery for submission to Congress. The first public mention of the UAPTF came in June of 2020 when the Senate Intelligence Committee formally asked the Pentagon for a comprehensive analysis of the UFO mystery. The Office of Naval Intelligence has an Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, and U.S. Senator Marco Rubio requested a detailed analysis of their findings. The reveal of both the task force's existence as well as Rubio's data request came in June of 2020, Select Committee on Intelligence report authorized by Rubio on the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021. By June 2021, a new task force championed by Senator Marco Rubio must submit an unclassified report on unidentified aerial phenomena to Congress. It comes as several erstwhile officials, including former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and 2 former CIA directors, have called for a more rigorous look at these sightings. The truth may be out there, but don't expect the feds to share what they know anytime soon on the recent spate of UFO sightings. Some military and spy agencies are blocking or simply ignoring the efforts to catalog what they have on unidentified aerial phenomenon, according to multiple current and former government officials. As a result, the Biden administration will likely delay a much-anticipated public report to Congress. But those advising the investigations are advocating for significantly more time and resources to retrieve information from agencies that, in some cases, have shown reluctance, if not outright resistance, to sharing classified information. And they worry that without high-level involvement, it'll be difficult to compel agencies to release what they have. The Senate Intelligence Committee has asked the Director of National Intelligence to work with the Defense Department to provide a public accounting by June 25th on unexplained sightings of advanced aircraft and drones that have been reported by military personnel or captured by radar, satellites, and other surveillance systems. The request came after revelations in 2017 that the Pentagon was researching a series of unexplained intrusions into military airspace, including high-performance vehicles captured on video stalking Navy ships. Just getting access to the information, because of all the different security bureaucracies, that's an ordeal in itself, said Christopher Mellon, a former Pentagon intelligence official who lobbied for the disclosure provision and is continuing to advise policymakers on the issue. For now, he asserts that a Pentagon task force established last August and led by the Navy has had few personnel or resources and only modest success acquiring reports, video, or other evidence gathered by military systems. The Pentagon Task Force is expected to be the primary military organization contributing to the wider government report. I know that the task force has been denied access to pertinent information by the Air Force, and they've been stiff-armed by them, Mellon said in an interview. That's disappointing, but not unexpected. The Air Force, which is historically most associated with UFOs from its investigations during the Cold War, deferred all questions on the subject to the Office of the Secretary of Defense, which has similarly said little publicly about the effort. To protect our people, maintain operational security, and safeguard intelligence methods, we do not publicly discuss the details of the UAP observations, the task force, or investigations, said Pentagon spokesperson Susan Goh, who declined to address the criticism. Any delay in delivering is likely to be perceived by a large segment of the public as an attempt by the government to hide what it knows. But there is growing pressure from Congress for a more organized effort to compile what the government has learned and reveal how it's trying to solve the mysteries. Senator Marco Rubio, who was responsible for requesting the report, told Fox News this week that he does not believe military and intelligence agencies have come to any solid conclusions about the origin of the UFOs, but he insisted that the reports demand a more comprehensive intelligence gathering effort. Now recently retired national security officials are speaking out. In the run-up to the task force's report in June, John Ratcliffe, former director of national intelligence, told Fox News last month that there were a lot of sightings that have been made public. Similarly, James Woolsey, former director of the CIA, said on a podcast this month he was taking the subject seriously, as did a successor at the CIA, John Brennan, in December. The Pentagon hasn't offered an official explanation for UAPs like the Tic Tac craft, calling them unidentified. Former officials don't seem to be willing to utter the word alien, but it's the implication of what they do say. Lou Elizondo, who ran the secret Pentagon UFO tracking unit, has publicly ruled out the theory that the Tic Tac craft came from the U.S. arsenal or from the arsenals of our adversaries, leaving only the theory that it came from someone or something else. According to Brennan, some of the phenomena we're seeing could involve some type of activity that some might say constitutes a different form of life. U.S. Navy pilots who've actually seen the Tic Tac craft are even more direct, with one telling the Post it was something not from Earth. So how do skeptics respond when credible people in the science field examine UFO and anomalous evidence and can't debunk it? And how do they respond to recent events such as the Tic Tac videos? People with training in the scientific field seem to be taking more of an interest in the evidence being presented. But this is not a recent thing. It's been going on for a long time. It seems with what appears to be a gradualist disclosure process happening, scientific folk are now being taken more seriously. For example, Dr. Mark Carlotto is an engineer and scientist. He has several decades of experience in satellite imaging, remote sensing, image processing, and pattern recognition. Before he makes any decision, he spends time analyzing the data presented. Dr. Carlotto dedicated much of his spare time to investigating the anomalies on Mars, including the famous face. He used a technique called shape from shading to analyze the 3D structure on the Mars face. His technique received recognition during an episode of the popular National Geographic series Cosmos. According to Dr. Carlotto, UFOs and UAPs are likely real, appear to defy the laws of physics as currently understood, apparently exceed known aerospace capabilities, and might not be extraterrestrial in origin, suggest that reality may be completely different from what we think it is. For the UFO-believing community, he's just confirming what we already know. In 2019, the U.S. Navy photographed and filmed pyramid-shaped UFO, and a newly leaked video of flashing, triangle-shaped objects that flew over a U.S. warship is real. The Pentagon said after UFO investigators released the clip and several other puzzling photos online. The photos and videos were distributed by documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, a Las Vegas-based reporter who's covered UFO-related stories for decades. Perhaps the most startling video is the one recorded from the deck of the USS Russell, which appears to show several unidentified flying triangles flashing in the clouds off the coast of San Diego. The brief video was shot through a night vision camera in July of 2019, Corbell says. The USS Russell observed and recorded multiple pyramid-shaped craft, he wrote. The video shows a distinctly triangle-shaped object moving through the clouds above the warship. The object joins two other, fainter triangles in the sky before the video ends. Photos from the second event show a spherical-shaped craft near the USS Omaha, according to Corbell. The black and white grainy sequence of infrared photos depicts a black circle seemingly descending into the ocean. Corbell says the object seemed to slip effortlessly into the water instead of making a splash and taking damage upon impact. He adds that the Navy sent a submarine to search for wreckage, but they found nothing.
A lot of white water up there, 6-foot swells. Whoa, it's getting close. Yeah, we have 31 knots sustained wind, topside, gust of 40.
What was splashed? Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
The third event described in the briefings involves a series of photos captured by a weapons systems officer from an FA-18 jet in Virginia on March 4th, 2019, Corbell says. The weapons system officer snapped photos of 3 objects that afternoon within a matter of about 20 minutes, according to Knapp, Corbell's collaborator. The objects were described as a spear, an acorn, and a metallic blimp in the intelligence briefing, they say. The nature of all objects involved remains unknown to the public, despite speculation that they might be of alien origin. Corbell says the combined trove of footage is evidence that the U.S. Department of Defense is taking UFOs seriously, and that these phenomena are worth exploring in a rational and transparent way. The Defense Department has confirmed that leaked photos and video of unidentified aerial phenomena taken in 2019 are indeed legitimate images of unexplained objects. Photos and videos of triangle-shaped objects blinking and moving through the clouds were taken by Navy personnel, Pentagon spokesman Sue Goh said in a statement to CNN. She also confirmed that photos of 3 unidentified flying objects, one spear-shaped, another acorn-shaped, and one characterized as a metallic blimp, were also taken by Navy personnel. As we've said before, to maintain operation security and to avoid disclosing information that may be useful to potential adversaries, the DoD does not discuss publicly the details of either the observations or the examinations of reported incursions into our training ranges or designed airspace, including those incursions initially designated as UAP, Goh said. She also said that the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, created in August to investigate UFO sightings observed by the military, has included these incidents in their ongoing examinations. While it's good that the government is finally taking UFOs more seriously, its job is primarily to figure out whether they represent a military threat. But these unidentified objects may also represent an opportunity to advance our science and technology significantly if our other 2 pillars of innovation, academia and industry, are willing to catch up. Unfortunately, when scientists are asked about UFOs, they generally laugh off the subject. The well-known astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, for one, said he would only take the idea seriously when aliens sent him a dinner invite. Why do leading scientists show us such a profound lack of curiosity in a subject that might redefine not just their field, but also all of science? It could lead to a new understanding of our place in the universe and new advances in materials, science, biology, quantum physics, cosmology, and social sciences. We'll know more when the Pentagon's report on unidentified aerial phenomenon comes out in June. But now that the government is starting to take UFOs seriously, it's high time that more academics and industry leaders step up to do the same. Thank you for watching, and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. We really hope you subscribe, and if you'd like to be notified of future releases, just hit the bell button. Leave a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on all of this and what topics you'd like to explore in our future videos.